Hello and welcome to another episode of Train Sim World 2, where I'm doing my best to drive virtual locomotives without causing major disaster. Or do I? Anyway, before I begin, I'd like to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that already, and follow up with bell button to turn on the notifications and stay up to date with my latest content. I would also like to encourage you to join my Discord server, where you can interact with me and other Train Sim World fans, talk about the game in general, share some cool mods, or just chill. You can find link in description down below this video. So, welcome back in another episode of our Sandpatch Great journey. This time we will take care of one of 4 remaining missions. So, without any further ado, let's jump into the game. There we go. Right, so the next mission on our list is Q353 Manifest Cumberland to Willard. And that's what we are going to do today. Looks like this is gonna be another long mission. Okay, run this manifest train along the line to Rockwood, where another crew will take over. It should take us roughly around 90 minutes. We are going to be running AC 4400 CW YN2, and the total mass of the consist is 5,417.5 tons. We got 44 wagons or units in our consist, and the total length is 873.8 yards. Okay, so let's begin. Now, let's check. Okay, we got... Ooh. We got 4 locomotives. Okay, so we will have to set them up. Let's jump off our seat. Right, generator field on, control on, engine run on. Let's set up air brakes. Yeah, they are on cutout. We need to be on cut in, lead, and save changes. There we go. That is nice. We can also turn on... Where is that? There should be gauge lights. Step lights. Gauge lights. There we go. They are on now. Alright. Now, we need distributed power. We need radio in this unit. Long hood headlights can be off. Control headlights, short hood lead, there we go, and number lights. Beautiful. Okay, window heaters can be off, road crossing lights can be on. Okay, this one is set up. Almost. Oh, look at this, we got some snow. Nice. Right, let's open the crossing. Let's go along the path. Let's close the crossing. We probably won't be coming back this way. Right, so this one will have engine run off, control off, air brakes are configured to trail. No, I don't want to give up control. Okay, that is good. Handle off, independent brake on release. Okay, this one is set up. I don't need distributed power. I can turn off the radio, and this is a long hood trail. There we go. Number lights are on. Beautiful. With that done, long hood headlights off, short hood headlights on. Beautiful. Alright. Now, let's head on to the rear set of locomotives. We need to set them up as well. I wonder... Oh, okay. The game is not detailed as much. I was hoping that I will be leaving trails on that snow. Unfortunately, I don't. Right, let's begin our movement. Oh, that's gonna be a very long run. But, on the other hand, this is a really nice consist. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness me. Why the game would think I want to give up control? This is a bit stupid. Like, just because I need to set up 2 sets of locomotives doesn't mean that I want to give up control. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I hope Dovetail didn't thought that I will just, I don't know, use it as it is, because it's, as always, it's poorly set up. I could eventually just detach those locomotives, and I think front set should easily be able to handle it. But why would I? I still got so much power that is laying in those locomotives that it would make no sense. Right. This one is... Do I need this on? I can't remember. I think I need this on. No, I need them all off. Okay. Okay, I need radio on. Distributed power needs to be on. Long hood headlights off. Number lights on. This one will be short hood lead again. Okay. However, the air brakes are gonna be set up as trail. Is it? Oh no. I'm gonna set them up as lead. No, I don't want to give up control. Okay, okay. If I remember everything correctly, as soon as I turn on the banking com, things should start working. But those should be still off. Do they? I'm completely confused now. Oh no, I need to set this one as a lead. Right, so that's how I'm gonna set it up. Is it? Because these controls will eventually move. Right. Distributed power, okay. Yeah, this locomotive should work now. Right, let's go to the rear one. My goodness me, I always keep forgetting how to set up the lead locomotive in the rear set. Right. Long hood trail, okay. Radio off. Long hood headlights off. Okay. off, control off. And air brakes, let's just control them. Come on. Cut out, trail, fantastic. Okay, so this one is set up. One final look if everything is okay. Yes, it is. No, long trail, number lights, okay. Lovely. Right, so this one is also set up. We should be able to use power of all locomotives right now. We should, but we don't have to. Right, we'll see. We'll see if everything works. Worst case scenario, I won't be able to move ahead. That will be a bit unfortunate, but if I remember things correctly, and if I set them up correctly, we now should be able to run this train properly. Okay. Now I need to run back to my original locomotive, turn on banking com, and release the brakes. And we should be able to go. Oh my goodness me, this is a very long consist. Come on, come on, come on, run, run, run. Run, Forest, run. Oh dear. Yeah, it would be nice if Dovetail would introduce some sort of teleport. If my train is stationary and I just have to set up locomotives, why wouldn't I be able to jump between different locomotives to simulate that each one of them, or at least each set, will have separate engineer inside? Because normally that's how those trains should operate. Come on, stop bombarding me with those messages. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, let's climb back and let's get to our cozy and perhaps well heated cabin. There we go. Okay, we got some snow, so let's turn on the wipers. 32% should be sufficient. Beautiful. Right, so banking com on, and we should now be ready to drive. Obviously headlights bright aux, back headlights, and they can be off. Okay, and we can press exit. We are ready. Is it? Yes. Okay. So now, oops, wrong button. Okay, automatic brake release, independence brake on bail off, brake pipe is charging, reverser forward. Let's give it a bit of time to charge. This is a very long consist. In the meantime, we can turn on the wipers for my secondary driver. Look how happy she is. Too bad she is so useless she can't even turn on the wipers for herself. Right. Cab lights? No, we don't need them. Okay. Right. I guess we can give it a go. Okay, notch 1 on the throttle. That's the best test for us to see if the locomotive and if the consist is well set. If it's set correctly, it should be able to move on notch 1. Because why wouldn't it? It is a very powerful locomotive. We are getting a little bit of a struggle. But that was just initial struggle. Because we are moving. We are moving indeed. Just look at this. That's not the fastest start. Definitely. Looks like we might be lacking some power. Hopefully I did set up that rear locomotive correctly. Looks like I might have. Okay. It is surely working. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Well, we are surely moving. Although it's not the fastest start ever. Right, let's give it a notch 2. It should be much better. Okay, and as we are going, I might as well set the junctions. Okay, these are set. This one is set. This one is set. That one's set. That one's set. Those are set. And yeah, and then we are ready. Beautiful. So all we have to do now is get this bad boy to Hindman. We got another beautiful winter scenario. There we go. Screenshot taken. Perhaps another one. There we go. We got nice 2 screenshots. Okay, so I hope I did set up everything correctly. I'm still not sure about those engine run and other parameters. I think they should be left on. If I remember correctly. Because technically second set is a separate set of lead and trail locomotive. Even though the brakes are set for trail, because if I would set them for cut-in, I wouldn't be able to actually brake. So the brakes will be fully operated from my locomotive. But everything else, well, technically, thanks to the radio, there is like a virtual engineer inside. And he should take care of all that stuff. Hopefully I will be able to test it really soon. If I'll be able to climb uphill, then obviously everything is set up correctly. If I won't be able to climb uphill, then, well, we have a problem. I'd say we would have a very large problem. Anyway, for now, things are looking really good. We are doing 14 miles per hour. Speed is not dropping. It's in fact increasing. I can let it coast. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Looks like we might get another well-executed mission. Too bad the missions right now will mostly include driving on exactly the same route as we did before, which might be a bit less exciting. Hopefully the next 3 missions will be slightly different. I've seen some names that didn't appear before, so hopefully we will see other end of that route, because if I remember correctly, there is something further than Cumberland on this route. Cumberland wasn't the last station, so we could pull even longer route. But that's if I remember everything correctly. Anyway, we are moving ahead. Okay. All the junctions were correctly set, if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly. Blah 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 blah. What am I saying? Yeah, if I remember that setting phase I did when we moved in, we should be good to go. All the way up until we reach the main line. Obviously on the main line, signaler is taking over, and he will be setting junctions for us. And then obviously when we reach Willard, I think it's Willard, we might need to set few junctions ourselves. Okay, beautiful. Okay, let's set power to notch 1 so that we will keep our speed. We are now climbing uphill. Beautiful. Alright, let's take this occasion as we are driving very slow, so I can grab a sip of coffee. Ah, beautiful. Okay. I have to admit that this map looks much better during the winter. When we get some snow here and there, yeah, everything looks much better. Okay, we are losing a little bit of speed, which shouldn't be a problem. We can always get us to notch 2. Okay, fantastic. Let's see what rear locomotives are doing. It's really hard to say if those are really giving me any power. I hope they do. Because if they don't, this might be a bit difficult. Yeah, I always keep forgetting if I should set the lead locomotive on the rear with engine run on and all those parameters on. I think they are setting themselves up anyway as soon as I turn on banking combat. Yeah, I always keep forgetting if I'm getting power or not. And the biggest problem is I can't even spot it because the game stopped rendering a funnel smoke. So I can't say if the locomotives are just idling or if they are indeed giving me any power. But looking at my speed, it doesn't look good. Because normally I wouldn't use notch 3 to power through this section. Notch 2 should be sufficient. I might need to stop for a bit. Right, we will be going underneath that bridge. And that's when I might be able to spot if we are actually producing any power on the rear. We should be. But the game can be tricky. Yeah, definitely there is some power production. Okay, let's let it coast. Very good. Part of the train is now going downhill, but that is not a big problem. Let's take another beautiful screenshot. There we go. Okay, back to notch 1. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. Minimum reduction on the brakes. Ooh. Yeah, just because we started to go downhill. We were dangerously close to exceeding speed limit, but okay, the speed is doing some crazy things. Now I'm going uphill, so notch 2 should be better. We are still gaining speed, surprisingly. Okay, the limit has increased, so it should be much easier for us to keep the right speed. Back to notch 2. Okay, another speed increase. Now we can do 25 miles per hour. Let's go up to notch 3. And finally unleash that power. I just hope that everything is set up correctly and we will be able to climb up this hill. One can only hope. So far, things are looking pretty good, I guess, but notch 3 It's definitely not giving me enough speed. Yeah, it gives me that feeling that these two rear locomotives might be idling, in fact. That is the problem. The game doesn't like generate the sounds from anything else than the lead locomotive. And I can't tell if these two are actually generating power or not. Yeah, the speed is definitely increasing. But it looks like there is like a massive lag in power generation. Which isn't too much of a problem. But it might become one. Yeah, that's really weird. Anyway, we are doing 22 miles per hour, 23, and the speed is now increasing. Let's go down to notch 2. That should be sufficient for what we need. Okay, speed limit will increase in about 2 miles. Or rather, no, in about, well, 1600 yards, which is, I don't know, it's probably just over 1 mile, is it? I'm not the greatest in, like, miles and yards measurement units. So forgive me mistakes on that part. But yeah, I think 1600 yards should be around a mile and a bit. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the power is like generated with a huge lag. That's why I get the feeling that rear locomotives are not producing any power. But they in fact do. It just takes a lot of time before they react to my controls. Which is okay. I'm fine with that. Okay, back to notch 3. After all, we are going uphill, just slightly, so a first good test to see if we have enough power to go up quite a steep hill. Okay, it is dropping just slightly, but we still got a lot of power reserve. Okay, I think it's working. Beautiful. Nice winter foggy day. Okay, we got new speed limits. Now we can go up to 35 miles per hour, so I will turn on notch 4. There we go. Yeah, still don't see any funnel smoke. That's the problem. But they are definitely not idle. Oh dear, if the game would actually tell me if these two are generating power, that would be absolutely great. But I won't find out about it. Okay, we are speeding up. Okay, I'm gonna use horn just in case I missed any whistle board. Can't remember if there were any. There should be. Oh, there is one. Right in front of me. I probably already missed like 3 or 4 of them. But just so that I follow whatever I can actually see. Let's at least act up. Yeah, it's really tough to follow those whistle boards. I could eventually jump back to the cabin and carry on like that throughout the entire journey, and it's perfectly fine. It's really nice view. Like driving in the cab in those sim games has this unique charm. Obviously, when you drive with outside camera, you can see what's happening around the train, how the train looks like while it's in motion, which will satisfy mostly people who enjoy doing that in real life, like photographing real trains or like recording them passing through various different places. But on the other hand, internal camera or driving exclusively on internal camera will satisfy mostly like hardcore simulator fans that prefers like superb immersion, because normally you don't have a drone that is always following your train and lets you see what's going on. You have to figure it out from your cabin, where you got very limited vision. So yeah, obviously various different choices of mine will satisfy various different groups of people that are watching. Oh dear, oh dear. It's really hard to choose. I wonder what people would prefer to see. Would you prefer me to drive more with a cabin view, or perhaps I should drive more with external camera? Because right now, yeah, I've been recently thinking about it, and like, I wonder which group of you is bigger, the group that prefers like camera from the cab, or the group that prefers those outside cameras. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Those dilemmas are really hard, not gonna lie. But yeah, it's actually a nice camera, especially in that weather, when you basically can't see in front of you. Like, I literally can't see anything. The visibility is really terrible. So now imagine traveling with all the helpers off, where I basically can't see the next signal. If it changes, I will pass the signal at danger. Like, okay, I know that the signals are like giving me a tip on what's gonna happen next, and like what's gonna be the next speed limit, or well, maybe not speed limit, but what's gonna be the next signal, definitely. So if I see yellow, then obviously I know that, yeah, the next signal might be red, so I need to prepare to stop my consist. But yeah, there are various other things that are happening on the rails. Ooh, what was that? Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'm on notch 6. And I'm still rapidly gaining speed. Huh. Yeah, I think we should be alright with the settings. Looking at it right now, there shouldn't be too much of a problem. Obviously, well, the game expects us to get to Willard within 90 minutes. I can guarantee you that this is not gonna happen. That's at least 2-hour trip. Even if I would go at the very top of the speed limit. Yeah, that's at least 2-hour trip. Oh, okay, back to notch 4. Yeah, perhaps notch 5. Ooh. Oh. Okay, notch 4. Are you kidding me? On notch 4, am I... Okay, I think notch 5 will be better. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, obviously it's not the most even section of the track, and it's really hard to predict what this speed is gonna be on various different notch settings, because there is that element of lag between reaction of this locomotive and the trail locomotive and second set of locomotives, because every information is being passed through the radio. That's why we are turning banking com. And obviously there seems to be a huge lag in power application, and perhaps that's why it takes so long for us to actually begin moving. Okay. There's another train, this time with coal. Nice one. Really nice one. Okay, it looks like notch 4 is giving me enough power for now. At least to keep the speed. Perhaps not speed up too much. So I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. Anyway, we won't be traveling at that speed for too long. Hindman is just up ahead. It's 5.2 miles, but with 50 mile per hour speed. It's gonna take me no time to actually reach that place. That's like just a couple of minutes and we'll be there. And starting from Hindman, the speed limit drops down to 25 miles per hour, if I remember correctly. So we won't be able to rush too much. But looking at the speed we were able to achieve and like power setting, we are definitely having enough power to pull this bad boy uphill all the way to Willard. Oh yeah. Alright, we are starting to go uphill just slightly. Which is good. Well, the funny thing about it is that it's winter and we basically, well, at least I don't feel like we actually need to use sand. We should be alright without it. At least I hope so. Okay, 3.6 miles to Hindman. It shouldn't take too long before we get there. Okay, we are losing some speed. But yeah, let's add a notch. From notch 5 we should easily be able to gain some more speed. But it's gonna take some time before it's gonna get applied by both sets of locomotives. And there we go. Speed seems to be stable. In fact, it's just slightly increasing. That's exactly what I want. Another whistle board. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Okay. I didn't notice if I lost any points for driving over the speed limit at any point, but for some reason I got 1605 points. So that gives me an idea that I might have received 15 points for one of the operations at least. Because otherwise, why would I be getting 5 at the end? That's a bit weird. Anyway, 1.3 miles to Hindman. So we are getting very close. When we reach that, we will have to slow down a bit. Because that's where the speed limit drops. One mile. Okay, but it looks like we are losing speed even on notch 5. Technically notch 6 should let me increase my speed, which is perfectly fine on such a high gradient and with such a big load. I would expect to use more notch 8 than I actually do. Oh. There we go, just as I predicted. In 1 mile, I will have to slow down to 25 miles per hour. So I shall just let it coast, and we should lose that speed on our own. Yeah. Providing that we are going uphill, we should lose that extra 10 miles per hour in no time. Okay, objective completed. And now we need to go via location Mans, which is 12 miles away from us. Okay, I'm gonna go back to notch 4. We are now down to 25 miles per hour. Question is that enough to hold my speed? Doesn't look like it is. Perhaps notch 6 will be much better. Oh, don't tell me that on notch 6 I'm actually gaining speed. Okay. Wow. Okay. Speed limit dropped to 25 miles per hour, so now I can't rush. But it seems to be stable. I'm holding stable 23 miles per hour, which is perfectly fine. I don't need to go faster, and I don't want to go any slower, really. So that's very good. Obviously, the incline will be changing from time to time. It will range between 1.4% to 1.8, 1.9. We all remember how this route goes. It is very demanding, but our locomotive setup is just that powerful. We got much more power than we actually need, and that's the proof. Yeah, there is no chance I'm gonna even go for notch 8 with this gradient, because our speed is actually increasing on notch 6. Go. We are about to hit 24 miles per hour. Okay. Hill got a little bit steeper and it dropped the speed back to 23 miles per hour. So yeah, I think notch 6 should be sufficient to keep us going. Worst case scenario, I might drop it down to notch 5 or jump up to notch 7 if things will change when it comes to incline. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty straightforward. Like right now there's no challenges whatsoever, at least for the next 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, let's just sit down and relax, and let's watch our loco go. Alright, we are getting closer. Just 8 more miles to go. First whistle board on the route. Not much was happening so far, to be fair. I just kept the same setting for entire time. We were passed by one other train that was going down, and that's basically it. Like, this time it's like, yeah, traveling on the same route over and over and over again definitely makes this a little bit boring, but we are getting there. We are definitely getting forward. We still didn't have to resort to higher power settings, which definitely proves that, well, the locomotives are set correctly. We got more than enough power reserve to push us through this hill, so there should be no problems whatsoever. The speed limit is about to increase to 30 miles per hour, but that might be just temporary increase, if I remember correctly, and it won't be long enough distance for us to actually benefit from it. We are doing 24 miles per hour. The speed is just perfect. Well, that's the thing with Dovetail, or with this route in particular. When you learn how to set things correctly, it's like no challenge whatsoever. Basically, there's no more challenge at all. All we have to do is to carry on going forward, stop at the right positions, and we should be good to go. There we go, we finally reached that tunnel. So shortly after, we should get a little bit less steep hill for a bit, which will then increase back to 1.4 and even higher. But for a brief moment, we will be able to power down to notch 4 even. It's just a few hundred yards more. And things should change. Yeah. Okay, let's power down to notch 5 so that I won't go above the speed limit. There we go. Speed has dropped to 23 miles per hour, which is a safe level. It is still slowly dropping from what I can see, but as the hill will become less and less steep, it should go back to appropriate levels. But that's literally all the controls we need to put to get this train going forward. Yeah, we're down to 22 miles per hour. That's a good speed. The locomotive is not struggling whatsoever. This should be quite easy, at least up until Sand Patch. At Sand Patch, obviously, the hill will go down, and we will have to use dynamic brake to slow us down and eventually bring the train to a stop. Okay, the speed limit will be 30 miles per hour in about 1,000 yards. Well, in our case, 2,000 yards, because our train is 860 yards long, if I remember correctly. And we need every single wagon and unit in this consist to pass the speed limit sign in order to be able to actually speed up, which probably won't happen because shortly after that speed limit increase there should be speed limit decrease down to 25 miles per hour. So as I said, we won't be able to benefit from it. With the signals all green, yeah. This is nice and easy. I could eventually go up to Notch 6 right now. But there is no need to do so. We are slightly slowing down. But very soon, yeah, again, hill became less and less steep, and it should go down to 0.7%, where Notch 5 will be more than sufficient to push us faster. And as we are not rushing, because there is no time limit to fulfill this mission, I don't see a reason to actually give it any more power. There we go, speed is increasing. We might have to go down to Notch 4 really soon. Okay, incline went down to 1%. Now it should be very easy. We are 6 miles away from our next target. Okay, speed limit increased briefly for to 30 miles per hour, but it should go down just about now. There we go. There's another whistle sign. Beautiful, just beautiful. Okay, the hill is becoming a little bit more steep, but I think it was just a brief moment. I think there is another whistle board. Yes, it is. go. And again, the hill is at 0.8% incline. So we should soon start increasing our speed. And we might need to drop the power by a notch, by the looks of it. Or maybe not. We will soon find out. For now, things are looking good. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, the speed dropped to 23 miles per hour, so we got some reserve and a headroom. I don't see the reason why we should mingle with our power settings in that case. Things are just going too smooth. I wonder if there are any surprises on the road, or if it's just gonna be nice and easy up until the end. Well, there's not that many complicated things on the road, so unless there is like some rail works on sand patch, I don't think we will see much of action up until the end. Obviously, when I will be required to use dynamic brake, things will change slightly and for a brief moment, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Oh, in fact, I now have to drop the power to notch 4 to make sure that we are not speeding up. It shouldn't take too long though. Okay, we are still traveling under the speed limit. Alright, we can go back to notch 5. Now that the hill is back to 1.4. Oh, it's going up to 1.6. Right, notch 6. will definitely need a little bit more juice. And as more and more of my train is getting on that steep hill, we will see speed starting to drop. Even on Notch 6. There we go. Speed is now holding at 24 miles per hour, but it will go down. 4 miles to go. Alright, incline is at 1.5 and it will stay pretty much at this and slightly higher level up until sand patch, where we will have to switch from powering up to dynamic braking, and we should be good. Okay, just 3 miles to go. There's another whistle board. Beautiful. Right, the incline went up. At this point I might have to jump to notch 7 Oh, never mind. It's back to 1.6. So it was just a brief increase. But I think it will go back to 1.8 at some point. It should happen really soon, if I remember this route correctly. Well, I've been driving on it for quite a long time already, so it's hard to not remember that this is going to happen. Okay, the speed is dropping down to 22 miles per hour right now. But we should still be alright. Right, another whistle board. We are getting very close, 1.5 miles to go. Oh wow, it's going so smooth that it's actually getting really boring. But on the other hand, you can get that feel that the actual driver must be getting if he is traveling on this same route over and over and over and over again, isn't it? If you know how to set your equipment up, if you know how to properly prepare everything, it's like it's just another day at work, isn't it? Just that's how it starts to feel. And well, among all the criticism that I had to Dovetail and to how like repeatable and boring those scenarios are, that's one of the things they got right. Like that feel that actual train driver must be getting when you are traveling over and over and over again on the same route. Yeah, imagine doing that every day, like for 8 to 12 hours. I'm not sure how long shifts are in those railways, but I would predict somewhere between 8 and 12 hours. So like you sit in your locomotive and you do the same route back and forth. Wow. Like it requires a lot of patience and a lot of focus to be able to like stay awake for all that time doing exactly the same things. Obviously there's always some dangers on the route, like every single time you go over like a level crossing, there is a danger that some, well, not so well trained driver or not so smart driver will decide to check if his car can be, well, an actual obstacle for 53,000 tons or 5,300 tons, sorry, 53,000 tons. I'm not talking about battleship. Yeah, but some people seem to be getting a bad idea that they can actually speed up their journey by like going through level crossing when the train is approaching, which is exactly opposite to what should happen. But well, you can't control everyone, isn't it? You can put the signs, you can put everything to protect those people from themselves, and they will still try to like push their luck and jump in front of the moving train. And yeah, like well, basically you can find like how many like level crossing incidents there were on many railways, and it's like stunning to see that those numbers are actually not falling down, or even if they do fall down, it's because like the people who did that once usually don't get to live long enough to do it second time, which is saddest part of this. But yeah, like wow, I don't know, but that's one of the things that Dovetail could eventually introduce to make this game more fun, like random events that would require you to react to them, and obviously sometimes they would require you to finish the scenario sooner. But it would be nice to see like a dynamic scenario where a traffic can eventually cause you to like introduce emergency braking, where there would be a situations that happens on the rails that would require you to like introduce all those emergency measures and then eventually resolve that situation in a correct way. Sadly, well, that's one of the things that rail sims probably won't get anytime soon, because there is also a licensing problem when you start to introduce any sort of accidents for like a retail game. Then obviously you would have to like model all the physics and model everything so it looks realistic. Yeah, if the player would fail to introduce like emergency braking on time, or if the reaction time is not good enough, if the player was moving too fast, then obviously it would end up in a crash, and then this crash would have to be properly modeled, otherwise the product would show like things that developers missed, and that's not appropriate. None of the companies would like to like, how do you call it, well, none of the companies would issue like a license to actually get damages to a train model. I don't think there is any that would do that. Right, we finally, well, we are approaching our stop location. We are about to stop in 2.3 miles. We already passed the first yellow light, and very soon we will have to stop the train. It's not far from here, and I think that's gonna be the end of our route. So Willard, oh, perhaps, yeah, so that was my mistake. I was always convinced that Willard is further away, but unfortunately that is not the case. Right, we are doing 20 miles per hour, very good speed for what we are for what we intend to do. And let's see if this scenario will go any further. We've already passed 1.5 hour mark, that's for sure. So it might be the end of the scenario, and that might be one of the scenarios that is correctly described, which is a nice surprise for a change. But it might be that we just have to let another train go through. Because I really can't remember where the Willard is. If we have to stop in 1.8 miles, then perhaps it was a mistake, because that would indicate that we are already at Willard. And I thought that this is a sand patch, or that this location is called sand patch. Anyway, we are in that tunnel. Nope. I completely forgot that this tunnel doesn't have that much grade. And I almost started to speed. Right, we are down to notch 4. That should be sufficient to keep us going. The speed limit has increased to 30 miles per hour. It will increase even further, but there is no need for us to actually worry about it, because after this yellow signal that is just up ahead at the end of this tunnel, we will have to stop in about 1 mile. Okay, so now we are doing 25 miles per hour. Let's drop it down to like 20. Should be very easy now, as we are approaching the peak of this hill. There we go. We can already see the end of the tunnel. Okay, and here we are. Beautiful. Less than a mile until we have to stop. Last yellow light. And the next one should be red. Okay, we can now let it coast as we are passing the peak. In fact, I can set up for dynamic braking, because the wagons will soon start pushing on me and increase the speed. There we go. Let's set dynamic brake to notch 2 so that I will start slowing down and keep the train at the right speed. Okay, notch 3 to push us back. That should be sufficient. Okay, let's go down to notch 2. Seems like we got excess power. 1,000 yards to go. We will very slowly approach that stopping point. Okay, let's increase dynamic braking to notch 3. No need for us to actually rush into our destination. We are about to reach it anyway. $700 yards to go. We are doing 16 miles per hour. Okay, and the speed is dropping, which is good. $600 yards to go. Back to notch 2 so that I can let the train gain some more speed. I can't let it coast fully, because then we would have really hard time to stop. 500 yards to go. Thankfully there is no red signal. But yeah, notch 2 is not sufficient to slow us down, and notch 3 is a little bit overpowered. So we will have to balance our speeds. Okay, 300 yards to go. $200 yards to go. We're getting closer and closer. 150 yards to go. Okay, I can introduce notch 3 on dynamic brake, and at 100 yards mark I will introduce minimum reduction on the brakes, and that should give us almost perfect stopping distance. Notch 4. Okay, a little bit more brake. And we are stopped. Okay. Uncouple vehicles. 2 vehicles needs to be uncoupled. Okay. I will set my brakes to full service. So last two locomotives needs to be uncoupled. And we will probably continue our route all the way to Willard. Yeah, so just as I expected, that would be a little bit too soon to stop because Willard was further away. Okay. Okay. So I wonder what now. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, so when I uncouple those locomotives, I might need to push them on a siding. Or I will just have to leave them where they are. Somebody else will move them. And I will have to take this train further down the road. Okay, 200 yards to go. I should soon see my locomotives. Okay, 150 yards. There they are. Okay, I will just climb over because the lever to release is here. Okay, we uncoupled the train. Let's wait for a moment. Objective completed. Okay, go via location, Salisbury. Okay. Oh, okay. The real locomotives moved out on their own. That's very interesting because there was no one in there. Oh well, at least we don't have to worry about those. And we still got 5.3 miles to go. Right, let's get back to the cab because it's cold. Ooh, it's really, really cold. I'm freezing. Thankfully, I have to run for such a long time. It will definitely heat me up. Yeah. Run, Forrest, run. Faster. Come on, come on. Oh, come on, stop giving me those messages. I wonder if I can turn them off. And set them that it always says, no, I want to continue what I'm doing. Oh dear. Really, that... Why would those messages pop up if I have to run all the way to the other end of the train to do something? And that's how the scenario is actually designed. So it's not something that that I'm doing just because I wanted to. Right. Anyway, let's release the brakes. And I think that should be... Yeah, I think that should be enough to get us moving because, well, we are standing on incline. So the train will roll on its own. I don't even need to do anything. Because as soon as all the brakes will release in every single wagon, there we go, they will start pushing on me. So that was easy. But it will become a little bit harder, because right now I got much less power to get me moving or bring me to a stop. We have to rely only on those two locomotives. And the consist is not much lighter. I think... How much was it? It was around 200 tons, 250 tons that we just took out by decoupling those locomotives. It shouldn't be that hard, to be fair, but yeah, we are still at 5,000 tons at least, and we still need to get to our final destination, which is gonna take some time. Okay. It should take us around 30 minutes from now to get to our final destination, which, yeah, makes this scenario over 2 hours long. Okay, let's introduce notch 2 on dynamic brake so that we won't jump over the speed limit. Oh. Notch 3. Yeah, notch 3 seems to be much better. It's still struggling a bit, but it's definitely much better. Okay, the incline has become steeper. Let's increase the dynamic brake to notch 5. Ooh, that might not be sufficient to hold us. Okay, minimum reduction on air brakes. I don't want to take a risk. Let's go down to 32 miles per hour. Okay. That should be good. We are on notch 6 on dynamic brake. And it still seems to struggle. And that's just 1% incline. I need to be very careful here. Okay, for now notch 6 seems to be sufficient. Alright, so we'll keep it that way. 3.4 miles to go to our next destination. And then I think after Salisbury, the next location should be Willard, where we just have to stop in the right spot and finish our journey. Oh, there's another whistle board. Okay, let's go down to notch 5. That should help us keep the speed on appropriate levels. There's another whistle board. Okay. Looks like notch 4 might be a better idea. Okay, we are still slowing down, but it will take some time before the power will even up and stabilize. So for now I'm just slowing down. Okay, let's go down to notch 3. Let's see if that will help. Okay, notch 3 seems to give me stable speed for now. Okay, more or less. Should I reduce it to notch 2? Not sure if that's the best idea ever. Okay, I just did a brief jump to notch 2, and basically I'm at notch 2.5 right now. Okay, let's go down to notch 2 and let's see if we can regain some speed. Okay, the incline is changing. It's actually increasing, which is good. I'm gonna let it go up for a bit. Okay, green light up ahead. Still 2 miles to go to Salisbury. Speed is nicely increasing. We are now at 25 miles per hour. 26. Very good. Gonna introduce notch 3. Which should let me hold the speed at more or less stable level. Okay, very good. We are getting really close. Just 1.7 miles to go. Let's go to notch 4. Another whistle board. Okay, very good. We are now holding on 30 miles per hour, which should be pretty good. Oh, never mind. We can go down to... Well, notch 3 might be a bit excessive right now. Or maybe... tracks become even. Okay. Dynamic brake is off. And for now we can just let it coast. It will take some time before speed will stabilize again. We are now going down the incline again. I will just introduce first notch of dynamic braking. Less than a mile to go. And I'm just going through this location, so I don't need to stop. The speed is slightly dropping. Okay, let's turn the dynamic brake off. For now we can relax. Okay, we are basically at Salisbury. 1,000 yards to go. Nice and easy. 500 yards to go. Signals are all green for now. Okay, we're here. And we have to stop at 6.7 miles. Alright. That shouldn't take too long. Our final stop is not far away. From now on it should be nice and smooth. And with that speed, it should take us roughly around 10 minutes to get there. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Everything goes very smooth. Oh, there is a short section where we are going uphill. But it won't last long. Very soon the tracks should go back downhill. There's no need for me to actually do anything. There we go. Nice one. Okay, the speed started to increase. I will introduce notch 1 on dynamic brake, just to keep our speed in control. Okay, time to introduce notch 2. Hopefully that will be sufficient to slow us down or eventually keep the speed at stable levels. perhaps not exactly. Let's go up to notch 3. Okay, that starts to make a difference. Very good. Speed limit stays at 35 miles per hour, but it might drop down. Oh, it's actually increasing to 45 miles per hour in 2.1 miles, which means that shortly before we stop, we will be able to travel even faster, which, well, we don't really have a need for doing so. So, yeah, I will try to keep my speed at around 30 miles per hour for now. That should be sufficient. Okay, 4.2 miles to go. We're doing really good. Okay, 3 miles to go. For now I can release dynamic brake. We're doing really good. And the speed limit will increase in about 800 yards. Not that it makes any difference, but, well, it will increase. Two and a half miles to go. We are very close. Very good. The speed is decreasing on its own, just slightly. We are approaching 2 mile mark. And it won't take long from there. All we will have to do is to stop precisely at the right location, which will probably be like 50 yards away from the red signal, so precision will be very important on this one. Oh yeah, it's roughly around 100 yards away from the signal. Okay. We started to go downhill slightly. I will introduce notch 2 on dynamic brake, just to keep our speed on roughly this level. It will obviously go up and down as the hill will increase and decrease its steepness. But as long as we can keep it at around 25 miles per hour, that will be very good. We will obviously start to dropping it further down when we hit 1,000 yards mark, which should happen in about a mile, 1.2 miles. Yes. Okay, the speed is now dropping. I can reduce dynamic brake as we entered even ground. Less than 1.5 miles to go. Okay, 1 mile to go. We are almost there. All I have to do is to stop at the precise location, and that's it. That's the end of this scenario. I doubt there will be anything else. Okay, let's start introducing some dynamic brakes so I can slow down. If I can drop my speed down to like 15 miles per hour, that will definitely help me. Perhaps notch 4 is a little bit excessive, but notch 3 seems appropriate. It will slowly drop my speed down, especially that I'm going downhill. Come on, notch 3. I know you can do it. Okay. Yeah, my speed is going down. Okay, the next signal turned yellow, which is going to help me. Okay, back to notch 3. Okay, maybe back to notch 2 for now. Okay, I'm 800 yards from my final destination. I'm doing 12 miles per hour. And the speed is decreasing, in fact, which is good. Okay. That's good. We will approach at that slow speed and bring the train to a stop. .500 yards to go. The speed is dropping even further, is it? Oh, okay, the speed is balancing between 10 and 11 miles per hour, which is very good. That should be sufficient to get us exactly where we want. Okay, that's the yellow signal, and right behind it there should be a red one. Yeah, there we go. And the red signal is just shortly ahead of where we need to stop. Okay, at 150 yards, I'm going up by a notch on dynamic brake. And minimum reduction. I'd rather stop a little bit too soon and pull the train forward than to stop too far. Yeah. Okay. I will just let the train roll a bit. Brakes are released, so we should start rolling really soon. I just need to do extra 30 yards. But there's only 60 yards to go. I really hate that. Okay, 12 yards, 11 yards. That stopping point is way too close to that signal. 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, minimum reduction. 1 yard. There we go. Perfect stop. Whew. Okay, we made it. Another gold medal, as you can see. Almost perfect run, but it definitely took us much longer than 90 minutes. I would say it's closer to 150 minutes, and that's how this scenario should be rated. Unfortunately, well, developers, as always, decided that, yeah, this scenario should finish in 1.5 hours. I don't know how fast I would have to go in order to finish this scenario in 1.5 hours. I'm not gonna lie, this is absolutely impossible. But apart from this, apart from the poor prediction, everything was pretty fine. The scenario was rather boring. Let's face it. Apart from having to disconnect last 2 locomotives at Willard, nothing happened since we entered that speed limit zone of 25. As you can see on the graph, my speed basically didn't change for that long. It dropped slightly when the grades were increasing, but those were very short periods of time. And in most cases, it was held at solid 23, 24 miles per hour, with slight bumps closer to 25. Later on, yeah, my speed was holding pretty fine. I was pretty, well, more or less stable on my speed. It was going up and down, as always. You can't keep it exactly at the same level. But it wasn't dropping gradually. Those were just slight drops. And yeah, everything went pretty good. Right. So, guys, thank you very much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this scenario. We still got 3 more to go, and they will be published week after week, every Friday. So for next 3 weeks, you should expect Sand Patch Grade to continue. And after we finish with Sand Patch Grade, that's a good question. What would you like to see then? Should I carry on with Train Sim World 2 and perhaps jump in onto another type of route? Or perhaps should I jump into other game? I'm still thinking about it. Depending on how many people will be willing to watch those videos, I will either jump into a different scenario or scenery and we can start another journey. There's still plenty of them to go. I perhaps in next episode I will try and show you the list of the list of journeys I can take, and we can discover all those different rules. I'm really tempted to take some passenger service for a change, because definitely some timetable and time limits might be highly appropriate. We've been doing entire series right now without worrying about time limits. However, when you take passenger service, well, that's the difference. You have to worry about time limits. You have to move a little bit faster and get your train to your destination on time. So perhaps I could try some passenger service. Either we will go with ICE, which would introduce some higher speeds, or we can go with, for example, some British rails and go in there. I think I got some routes from British Railways, and they are pretty nice. Right. Anyway, I won't be holding you for any longer because we are 2.5 hours in this video. So what I would like to say for the end is thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to get informed about my new content, hit that notification bell button and don't forget to share your comments down below. Have a great day and see you all later. Later. Out.